In this bear market, there hasn't been a lot of exciting things to look forward to, but one of the most exciting and innovative new Layer 1 blockchains launched their mainnet this week, known as the Sui blockchain. And it's already been given the title of the next Ethereum or Solana killer, but we've heard that so many times. So the real question is, can this be something we look forward to in 2023 and the next bull run? What I want to do is talk about this team and project and why I'm excited about it. And with mainnet going live this week, we can give an overview of the ecosystem as well as some apps that are already live and up and coming, as well as talk about my strategy for the token and ultimately figure out if it's something worth buying. What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Crypto with Nick, a crypto enthusiast and DeFi investor, and today we're going to be diving into the Sui ecosystem. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, because I'll be making a ton more videos as this ecosystem develops, bringing you all the latest NFT and DeFi strategies. As always, timestamps are below. Feel free to skip around, come join the completely free community Discord, and let's get into it. To give some background here, Sui was actually created by Mysten Labs, but they also created Move. This is the new open source programming language for smart contracts. And if you're familiar with software engineering, you might understand some of the pain points engineers face today when deploying smart contracts to Ethereum using Solidity or Rust on Solana. There's a lot of confusion there, and Move really aims to solve that by building a new stack from the bottom up. We'll introduce the team in a second, but if you're someone who loves to dive into the technicals or the theory around things, I really recommend this podcast from Zero Knowledge, Move and Sui, with Sam Blackshear from Mysten Labs, who's the co-founder and CTO, who kind of describes on why they thought it was really necessary to build a whole new language from the ground up, rather than just adopting maybe what's already out there. Here we have the executive team at Mysten Labs and the Sui blockchain, and what's really interesting about this team is actually a lot of them used to be ex-Meta or Facebook employees that used to work on the blockchain technology over there. Here we have in the middle Evan Chang, who's the CEO and co-founder. On the right, we have the CPO, Abedin, and then on the left, we have the CTO, which is Blackshear. So here we have Evan Chang, who was an engineering director over at Facebook. Then we have Abedin and Blackshear, who held pretty prominent positions at a company called Novi. And then there's a fourth member here, George Danzis, who is the research scientist who also held positions at both Facebook and Novi. So here we have the entire executive team. I mentioned George, who wasn't pictured originally, and you can go ahead and view the entire team, all their LinkedIns and Twitter over at the Mysten Lab website. So one of the main reasons why this team left Facebook is because if you remember, Facebook was working on a project. It was called Diem, and this was going to be a way that users could send money to each other without needing a central authority, exactly everything we've been striving towards. But because Facebook is such a large company and very public, right, it did get a lot of scrutiny from regulators and ultimately felt that it was not going to be able to do the project justice and proceed, and so decided to shut it down. Now that we've met the team, let's talk about the investors, because Mysten Labs and Sui has raised a significant amount of money, their latest round coming over $300 million at a $2 billion valuation. And this is going to be led from people like Coinbase, Binance, A16Z, as well as Lightspeed Ventures. And if you come here to their site, of course, you can get a list of all the different backers. And what's funny enough is this was actually led by Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. But of course, we all know that Sam Bankman-Fried is awaiting trial and could very well end up in jail this year. It makes sense that this partnership has been dissolved. Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX was a huge backer of Mysten Labs. You can see here they invested over $100 million, but it was massive that Mysten Labs team was actually able to buy this equity back, which was huge because FTX is of course going through a bankruptcy, which means these assets would have been liquidated or sold to other parties, and who knows at what price, and who knows who they might have gone to. So thankfully they were able to get everything back at $96 million through the bankruptcy courts, right? Obviously there's a few million there that's kind of lost in the dust, but I call this a win. One of the last things I want to talk about on the background of this project is the performance, because it's one of the most exciting things at over 297,000 transactions per second. It's the fastest blockchain out there. And not only that, but it has a finality of 480 milliseconds, which is just unheard of. And so this really gives potential for a new breakthrough of use cases and adoption. And while Sui's not on this chart, I really want to show you the different blockchains and numbers that we normally expect and see. So Solana was groundbreaking at 120,000 transactions per second. At the time, that was unheard of. But the problem with some of these blockchains is the finality is also just a bit too high, right? Usually around 1 second or more. So now we have Sui coming in at double the transactions per second any of these other blockchains have been able to put up, as well as the shortest finality time, which again is just really going to give it that leg up if it's able to get the right traction. And of course, the most exciting part is that Mainnet went live this week just yesterday, which is May 3rd. And so now we can kind of go an overview of the ecosystem, kind of a step-by-step on how to bridge over and get started, some of the new projects that are coming up and are launching soon, as well as some IDO opportunities that we might want to be participating in. And with Mainnet going live, the Sui token dropped, trading on multiple exchanges right now, around $1.29, 700 million market cap. I actually opened up some longs on this right now, so I'm going to come back to this, talk a little bit about the tokenomics as well as some things you might want to know, but let's first check out the ecosystem. To kick off an overview of the ecosystem, first we have to start with the wallets because unfortunately MetaMask just isn't going to work here. I mean, if you check out my plugins up here, you can see I already have a dozen wallets. So let's go over my favorite as well as some options. So of course you had the Sui wallet. This was actually created by Mysten Labs, and so I would call this more the official wallet. However, I do like this wallet more. This is the Sui wallet, and I just think the UI is a bit more crisp. You also have the option here of the Ethos wallet, and there's even another called Martian, which is a pretty good one because it also works really well with the Aptos ecosystem as well. And once you set up your wallet and you're ready to bridge funds, you can come over here to the Portal Token Bridge, which already supports Sui, and you can bridge funds over from Ethereum to your Sui wallet, and so that way you have it on the other side. And once you start to kick off your first transaction, like bridging your funds over, you might be interested in checking out the Explorer. I find this one pretty good overall. I do like that it gives you some nice statistics right up front, gives you some idea on the validators as well as the different transactions if you want to check them out. So I found this graphic from Community Sui, so I definitely recommend giving them a follow. They put together a lot of great community graphics. And here's what's already live on the mainnet. I mean, to be honest, most of these are going to just be wallets and bridges, so not super exciting, but there are some projects here like Cetus that we're going to talk about today and some others. One of the first projects I want to talk about that you should be keeping an eye on is Tortuga Finance, and this is going to be liquid staking, and it's already live on the Aptos ecosystem. And the reason why liquid staking is so important is because it allows the ecosystem to be capital efficient, meaning you can lock up your Sui token and earn rewards, and being allowed to leverage and access that capital in DeFi, right? It's incredibly important to the Ethereum ecosystem as well as other proof of stake blockchains. So I definitely recommend coming over here, drop them a follow. It looks like I should probably follow them myself, but they also had this tweet here back on January 3rd where they went ahead and committed that they are going to expand to the Sui network. So just keep an eye out over the next few weeks, and I'm sure they'll be on mainnet soon enough. Next, let's talk about decentralized exchanges, and I'm actually looking forward to Cetus. This is going to be a concentrated liquidity, so think kind of Uniswap V3, and they're building on both Aptos and Sui. And it looked like their seed round was actually seeded by OKX and KuCoin Ventures, and they are audited. So this is definitely something I'm looking forward to. And one of the things that I'm most excited about this week on May 7th is we're actually having an IDO. So I'm not necessarily endorsing any project that I talk about today, right? I'm really just showing what's up and coming, but this IDO is particularly interesting to me. So I'm going to do a little bit more research. And if you're curious if I'm going to buy in, you can always DM me on Twitter or join a Discord. But I definitely want to show you because this is always potentially a good opportunity to get in on the ground floor of some of these new projects that could really be, the next big thing. It looks like the IDO is going to start May 7th and end May 9th. It's going to be for about 2% of the supply, and it's going to have a hard cap of 1 million Sui tokens, which is exactly what I want to see. I'm not a fan of the unlimited cap, so it's definitely something I'm going to keep an eye on. Another decentralized exchange coming up is BaseSwap, and they're also hosting an IDO this week on May 5th. And so I couldn't find as much info on like the team, investors are on it. So I'm probably going to drop them a message. And so be sure to join the Discord. I'll probably be sharing info as I get it there, but this is something up and coming. Looks like here the public sale is going to be May 5th with 100% of the tokens unlocked at the mainnet launch, which they're expecting May 25th. So a few weeks out. But no lockup, no vesting, which is always great to see. And it looks like it's going to be also about 2% of the supply. And again, not endorsing any of these IDOs, right? This is all just my research I'm sharing with you all. Be sure to check out things yourself and figure out if it's a good fit for you. So now that we talked about decentralized exchanges, let's talk about Scallop. And so this is going to be a money market that's going to be launching, and having a trusted money market is really pivotal for a growing ecosystem and really allows for large amounts of liquidity to come in. At the moment, this just looks like an Aave fork, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because it looks like they are backed by the Sui Foundation. So if they've been given a grant, right, that obviously can build a little bit more trust and confidence that this is a team that has good intentions and is on the right path. Another reason why I'm looking forward to this as perhaps a trusted money market is you can see they were the first project to get this DeFi grant from the Sui Foundation, right? They've won multiple awards from different hackathons as well as build houses, so definitely something to look out for. The next project that I'm keeping an eye on is called Aries, and so this is going to be leverage trading and deploying both on Aptos and Sui. So of course, we can look at their high-level architecture of all the different features in the app. And what's cool to see is this also has been audited, so that's great. So lending and borrowing, as well as account management for your risk and margin. And then we also have order books, as well as AMM swap. So really kind of putting together this whole package. And what's cool is this is already live over on Aptos, so you can go ahead and dive in here, play around, and kind of what to expect when they launch on Sui. Now let's move on to NFTs because quite a few projects are already launching. So I'm just going to touch on two of them right now. One is Sui Friends, and these were the capybaras. If you played around on the testnet, you'd know that you can mint these and dress them up in different outfits. So I'm not expecting these to be any kind of high value items, but I do think they're fun, and it is going to be something probably limited in time. So only 8 Sui. I'll probably mint a few and just have fun with it. The only project I've really seen do well so far is actually these ones called Fuddy. So surprisingly, they don't even have a website, but there is already an NFT marketplace built, and there's these kind of like cartoon owls. If we come over here to Clutchy.io, this is an NFT marketplace currently launched in beta. And so they've already listed Fuddies as well as some other collections. So you can come over here, check it out, be on the lookout for new collections that maybe you'll find the next big thing. Who knows? And then finally, to wrap this all up, the last thing we could talk about is domain name service. So if you're familiar with Ethereum ENS names, right, this is the Sui name service. It's not live quite yet, but this is going to allow you to get some identity attached to your wallet if that's ever something you're interested in. Now let's talk about the Sui token, the tokenomics, as well as my strategy, because everybody was waiting for an airdrop, including myself. I even made a video on how to farm for a potential airdrop because that's what we saw with Aptos, Arbitrum, and so many, but they decided to take a slightly different approach here. Instead of doing an airdrop, they actually did this thing called the Token Community Access Program. And what was a bit annoying about this is that it didn't allow US residents. So this wasn't something I personally was able to participate in. They partnered with KuCoin, Bybit, and OKX, but you had to KYC, which is why US residents weren't allowed to participate because technically US residents shouldn't be on those platforms. So each exchange was given 225 million tokens, and each user was allowed to purchase up to 10,000 Sui at a price of 10 cents. So maximum that you could contribute would be $1,000. And at today's token price, this would easily be worth around $13,000, right? It's trading at $1.28, but there was a small catch before participating in this event. And the catch is that this token is actually going to be vesting over the next year, right? So if you've never invested in a pre-sale or a seed round, this might not be super familiar with you, but you can see here, 1 of 13th will be unlocked at the token generation event, right? And then after 30 days, you can get the next 1 of 13th released monthly, right? So it's going to take a whole year to get that airdrop, but still a no-brainer. It should be easy, free money. Regardless, I would expect a year from now, Sui to be trading at its same valuation, if not higher, right? So definitely a good deal for those who got involved. Sometimes these valuations are so insane. So right now, the token is live, but only 5% of the supply is current circulating, right? So we have this 700 million market cap, but it has almost a $13 billion fully diluted valuation, which is insane. If you were to look at some of the stocks in the S&P 500, you would say that Sui, a new blockchain that has no proven use case and adoption, is worth the same as Live Nation. Live Nation are the same people that literally charge us an arm and a leg and our kidneys to go to a concert, or the same valuation as Best Buy or Fox, right? It always really blows me away on the insane valuations that these trade at. So that's definitely something you have to keep in mind for, because next we should look at the vesting schedule and emissions. So right now we are here in May 2023. Again, only 5% of the supply is circulating. And you can see here before the end of the year, that is going to dramatically increase, right? Up to almost 25%, right? So the amount of tokens getting unlocked by different investors or insiders is going to be huge. So this is something to keep an eye on and be looking out for if you decide to buy this token over the next year. And if you're wondering what's the value of the Sui token, right? Does it have any value accrual? It doesn't, the same as any other proof of stake network, right? You need to stake it to secure the ecosystem. It is being used for gas fees, as well as it's going to play an important role in governance. So what's my strategy? Well, right now I've opened up a long at this line around $1.34. So right now it's underwater, but that's completely okay because I'm looking at the next few weeks and possibly month for this trade. My thesis is simple. Out of the circulating supply, only 5% of it is out there, and most of it's with market makers. And we know that market makers and VCs love to pump their bags. And from all my research, I believe that Sui is a better blockchain than Aptos. And Aptos is trading at 2x the valuation of circulating market cap, almost $2 billion. Right? So the market has already agreed that something like Aptos is worth around 1.8 billion. And these are always so tightly intervened and talked about together that I believe we can see a similar right valuation for Sui. And for the most part, I don't really have to worry about any serious emissions or anything like that from insiders for quite some time. So I have some time for this trade to work out, but that's what I'm going to be looking out for. Other than that, I'm pretty confident that things are starting to shift a little bit, right? We just had FOMC this week. We got our 25 basis point hike. I believe that we could be hitting terminal rate. Maybe there's one more, but of course, if you've been watching the latest news, there has been signal that that might have just been the top. So if that's it, I think we're gearing up for an awesome bull run here in the later half of 2023, and I'm starting to plant my seeds. We talked about so many things today. We gave a whole introduction and background on the Sui blockchain, up and coming exciting ecosystem projects in IDO, as well as my own strategy, and check back in with me in a few weeks to see how my longs are doing. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you have any questions, send me a message on Twitter. Again, come join the completely free community Discord. But see you in the next one. Cheers and happy farming.